go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Ellie at English Fun Zone, and we have the fabulous Brad with us again. Hi, Brad.
Hello, Ellie. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
So, how was your weekend?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I spent it the usual way, eating nice food, relaxing, reading, learning Czech. What about you?
Oh, it was gorgeous here. We had wonderful
Mm,
weather. I did some gardening and it replanted some flowers. I took some old flowers out, put some new flowers in.
mhm.
It was so nice. And then I went biking and I had a little accident with my knee.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I overstressed. I strained it. I think I did. Uh, I think I rode too long or too far. But it was such nice weather,
Mm.
and I love riding my bike. I also went into Gothenburg, which was nice.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
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 I need to get up to Sweden at some point.
you should. Should.
Well, I'd like to see. I'd like to go to Stockholm and see the Vasa. So,
Ah, yeah, yeah. I've been there, done that.
hmm
Well, today's topic is on feelings and emotions. Try again. We're going to be talking about emotions and feelings today, looking at vocabulary. If you're new to this live stream, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section below. If you have questions during the live stream, I'll be checking the stream to see if anyone has any questions. You can always ask us questions about English. Oh, let's see. We're going to see the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
mm.
There we go. Yes?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so here, let's look at our first slide. Happy! Yay!
Yay.
Now, this is a basic word. We know what the word means, but what other words can you think of that are similar or synonyms to happy? Now, if you're watching this on the replay, if you're watching this later, pause the video now, write down some words that mean happy. And if you're watching it live, take just a moment to think of other words. Okay, that was a moment. Here are some synonyms that mean happy.
hmm
I'll say a word and Brad's going to say a word.
hmm
Elated. Elated.
Blissful.
Oh, try again.
Yep.
Elated.
Blissful.
Stoked.
Glad.
Delighted.
Ecstatic.
Pleased.
Thrilled.
Yay. So all of these things
Yeah.
could be very happy,
hmm
different levels of happiness, right? Happy is just happy. Now,
hmm
I am delighted that you're watching this live stream today. Thank you so much. And I'm also elated that you have clicked on the video. If you're watching this on the replay, I'm elated that you're watching this video. By doing that, it really helps me, helps the channel, and I got 10,000 of you to subscribe to my channel. Yay! Ding, 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 ding. I don't have any fancy sounds, but thank you so much for subscribing. And I'm just amazed and in awe of all of you. Okay, so that's how we can use elated and delighted. It's when you're really, really happy about something.
hmm
Instead of saying, I'm very, 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 very happy. It's, I'm elated. I'm
hmm
delighted. I'm delighted you're here.
Well, you're stoked that I'm here, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, stoked, it can be excited about something. I was stoked to go into Gothenburg this weekend. When I planned the trip, I was stoked.
hmm I'm uh I'm thrilled when it's Friday because I get to have pizza and the weekend is starting, so I'm always thrilled for that.
Oh, that sounds fun. Now,
Hmm.
if you noticed, I didn't write sentences for each of the words. I think that's a bad way to learn vocabulary. The best way to learn vocabulary is to read. Now, I post stories every Friday, and I try to post stories that have um, all three levels, intermediate or basic, intermediate, and advanced. Most of the stories are intermediate to advanced. Um, but you can still learn a lot of things by listening and by reading stories. And I try to do different types of stories. Right now, I'm doing a series on fairy tales. So it's a nice, simple story. Everyone's familiar with the story. And then when the series is done, I'll do some more advanced stories. So it's kind of a mixture of things. And I'm experimenting. If you have any suggestions of types of stories you'd like to listen to, let me know in the comment section below. Now, keep in mind, I'm limited to stories that are in the public domain. I can't post any stories that aren't uh, in the public domain.
Mm. Yes,
Right?
they won't be, the publishers won't be delighted if you did that to Harry Potter. Let's just say that.
No, they will not be too pleased with me if I did that.
No. Their lawyers would be ecstatic, though.
Yeah. Now, uh, uh, so I have left, if you're going to download this PPT, you can do that by going to englishfunzone.com to download the PPT. You do have to sign up to get the PPT, but you can add your own things. You can add your own words. You could add some sentences. You could even write a story or a short story using the words. Those are some suggestions for these vocabulary words. I
Hmm.
wouldn't recommend writing a word, writing a sentence, writing a word,
Hmm.
writing a sentence. And I know a lot of teachers do that, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. I think stories are the best way.
Mm.
Sad. What words can
Mm.
you think of that means sad? Again, take a moment to think about it. Okay, so what are some words that come to mind?
Mm.
Oh, it
Well,
seems I can't. All right. Well, think about the the words for a moment. I seem to
hmm,
have skipped. It went from okay. Well, that's interesting.
hmm,
When I went through the slides, I had everything set up, and it seems like one slide ended up getting deleted. And
mm-mm.
I just went through all the slides today. I might have accidentally hit a slide that um, accidentally took it away.
Oh dear.
So,
Does
so
that make you sad, Ellie?
that makes me very sad
Oh
because
no.
I had the words all set up and ready to go. And I always feel sad when things like this happen because I plan and prepare and do everything ahead of time so that it's a good lesson.
Hmm.
So what words come to mind?
Oh, well, depressed.
Hmm.
What about you?
I feel bad when I'm sad.
Mm.
I feel bad.
I feel melancholic.
Ooh, that's a good word. Melancholic.
Hmm.
And when things like this happen, I feel miserable.
Mm. Yeah, I can also feel pretty unhappy in these situations.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. And it seems that I was able to find the slide. It actually got bumped down to the next row, and I don't know how that. Oh wait, you'll see the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Melancholy, heart, unhappy, depressed. I am psychic.
There you go. See, we don't need a PPT slide, do we?
Mm,
Uh, yeah. So these are words that are synonyms of unhappy, sad.
hmm
And I'll start. Unhappy.
hmm
Your turn.
Heartbroken,
Depressed.
miserable,
Sorry.
bad,
Melancholy.
upset.
Mm, sorry about that.
That happens.
Yeah. That's a good expression. If someone says, I'm sorry, you can say, that happens. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Or you could say that you feel bad.
Mm. Yeah, I was a little unhappy that I lost a bike key. I have an old 1940s, 1950s bike, and I think it's about 1940s, 1950s, and I have a chain on it, and I can't find the darn key. So I
hmm
can't unlock this wonderful bike. I have two bikes. I use one, it's more of a heavy duty bike that I have a wagon that I pull because I don't have a car. We don't own a car. So I have a dog wagon that I put my dogs in, and I also use it to haul things. So I have a bike that's kind of a all-purpose, all-terrain type of bike. It's also an old bike, but the other one is an old bike, and I love this bike because it's completely different from the other one. It's lighter, it's faster, I sit higher up on it, but I'm very unhappy that I lost the key to it. So
Mm, yeah. Well, I get upset when it's bad weather
mm.
or or it's winter and the sun is going down at like 2 p.m.
Oh,
For
I
sure
know
in
the feeling.
Sweden, so the sun goes down even earlier than it does in Prague, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we have longer
hmm
days that are longer periods of time where we don't have daylight.
Mm.
And like right now, it's like, oh, we have sun. Everybody's outside.
Yep.
Everybody's out because the sun is out, and I live in the south part of Sweden, so it's not as bad. As you go farther north, you get longer periods of time without daylight.
hmm
And in some areas, you get a whole day or two without any sunlight. I wouldn't want to live that far north.
I can
I think
imagine.
that
Yeah.
that would be depressing, I think, not having the sun out. They
Well,
do have light therapy where you can sit in front of a light to get that, I
effect.
don't know, the effect of it, that feeling of summer and when
hmm
it's, dark outside. They actually
I can
sell
see.
lamps. Yeah.
Lamps are
All right.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel miserable when I'm sick.
Yes, definitely.
I hate being sick.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate being. I think the worst thing is throwing up.
Okay.
I hate vomiting.
No, I do too. It's just just abrupt. No, for me, it's the sore throat and the congested nose. That's really makes me unhappy.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting sad listening to this.
You're getting melancholic. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, I feel melancholy.
Mm,
Let's look at our next slide.
okay.
The next one is angry.
Uh-oh.
Angry.
Angry.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very angry.
Take take a moment to think about words. I mean, angry.
hmm
Does it look a little bit like Angry Birds? It's not supposed to be Angry Birds, by the way, but it kind
He he looks kind of like Carl Pilkington. Uh,
of. Yes, Yes. And for those that don't know who Carl
Especially
Pilkington
the
is,
animated version. Yeah.
yeah, you have to Google Carl Pilkington. Pilkton. Is it Pilkington? Wait,
King, you get the
Pilk.
G in there.
Yeah.
If you Google Ricky Gervais Carl, you'll get his name probably too.
I think I messed his last name up.
Mm,
Pilkington is Pilkington, right?
hmm
I think he spells his name with a K.
Yeah, no, I'm
So it'd
just
be
thinking of that one video he did where it was like an English lesson, and
oh right,
yeah,
yeah. So again, so I should have put it on the PPT. I should probably put it on the
you should
PPT.
probably put it with an adult warning, you know. So, but yes. Anyway,
Well,
someone thumps you, thumps.
I'll
I'm
post.
gonna rewatch it after this podcast.
Okay, so Carl with a K. Carl
Hmm
with a K. Pilkington. Okay, so we've thought of some words.
Mm.
Upset.
Enraged,
Mm,
Mm-mm.
exasperated.
Furious,
Irate.
mad.
Outraged.
Mm.
Not a lot of things nowadays make me upset.
Ah, lucky
I
woman.
don't I don't get easily upset over things. It'd have to be a lot to really upset me.
Mm. Okay. I can get exasperated by people walking slowly in front of me. Being from New York, that's something that is not good, and especially if they're like slowly shuffling hand in hand right down the center of the narrow path. Yeah, I good idiom is the red mist descends.
No, yeah, not a lot of things make me upset. I think I get, I think the thing that makes me enraged is when I'm walking on the beach and there's
Mm-hmm.
like broken glass in the sand that you don't see.
Mm.
If someone not picking up their trash,
Oh yeah.
that enrages me. That makes me
Mm-hmm.
so angry.
Mm-hmm. Bad writing in fiction upsets me. I want a good ending, and I want the characters to drive the plot, not the plot to drive the characters. But a lot of writing is, well, it's my plot, so this has to happen.
Any examples of what
Oh, I could
not to
go
read?
on and on. What?
I said, any examples of what not to read?
Oh, I could go on and on about what not to read or watch, but like for example, if you decide to have a relationship and then all of a sudden no, you're not supposed to like the relationship, or if someone has their life ruined by someone and they're so upset they join the person who ruined their life. Like I've
Well,
seen those as two examples. So
I meant like stories or authors you would not recommend.
again, I could name them, but I don't want to give them publicity. I want them to fade into obscurity because that would not make me furious. But no, I mean, I think as we discussed with the Magi, I think that the plot should be driven by the characters, not the characters are driven by the plot. So that's bad writing for me, and it makes me furious, as some of my friends and students can tell you.
Well, let's look at our next word. I don't like being
Mhm.
angry. I don't like talking about being angry or enraged
Me
or
neither.
okay.
Exactly.
Well, the next one is brave.
Mm.
Brave. Brave.
hmm
So take a moment to think about what words you can think of. Brave. Okay.
All right.
Adventurous,
Courageous,
daring,
fearless,
gutsy,
heroic.
venturesome. I love this word gutsy. I love that word. You're gutsy.
Mm,
I don't do anything that's gutsy. I don't do bungee jumping. I went, but I chickened out. I went bungee jumping,
hmm
but I'm not kidding you. I was in Costa Rica. I got on the bridge where we were going to jump off, where I was going to jump
hmm
off this bridge. My whole body just started doing this. I mean, just shaking so hard. I was like this. I, I thought there is no way I'm going to do this. And I went there with the intention of bungee jumping to have this fantastic story
hmm
to tell my friends and family. I did this in Costa Rica. I jumped off this bridge, but I'm not kidding you. I got up there and I was just shaking so hard. I it was like I was having some sort of fit, some sort of epileptic fit. I was shaking so hard.
hmm
But the moment that I said, I'm not doing this, I just calmed down. I was able to,
mm.
okay. But yeah, I'm definitely not very gutsy. What
Mm.
about you? Are you courageous?
Well, of course, I am reminded of my father, like obsessed with not getting on a submarine because of what you were just talking about. No matter what we were watching, whether it was Das Boot or just a peaceful documentary about science, he'd be like, "I'm never getting on that thing," as if like people were gonna break down the door and drag him away. Um, a lot of people think that I'm daring for dropping everything and moving to Prague, but I wasn't happy with things in the U.S. and I wanted to do something new, so it was just logical.
I would say I'm venturesome. I,
Mm,
I I would say that. I think that's a bit different, a little bit different than gutsy. Gutsy is something like bungee jumping or skydiving, which is another thing I won't do. um, but venturesome, I would say I'm venturesome because I've
okay.
lived in what, 5 different countries now,
Yep.
and and when I moved to China, everyone thought I was crazy. And my dad said, "Well, how long are you going to live there?" And I said, "I don't
Mm,
know." Long enough to learn the language. I don't know. So he thought that was gutsy, but I don't think living in a foreign country, unless it's in peril or there's some sort of war going on, I don't think living in a foreign country is all that uh, dangerous. Every
yeah.
country has dangerous areas. Every country has its own situations that you avoid. Um, so I think that's more venturesome than gutsy.
I mean, I think it's because, you're going to a place where you don't have a job, you don't have a home, you don't have the language. I think it's also difficult to imagine. You remember we were talking about the U.S. in our very first episode, that people see it as like the melting pot, the place to be.
Hmm.
So I think
Hmm.
people from there are like, why would you leave? I think that's
Right,
part of it too.
right.
Um,
That's what my dad said. My dad said, "Why do you want to leave the greatest country in the world?" And I thought, well, there are a lot of countries that are great, and China, it would be a place to learn things, and it's so different. When I was really little, I thought,
mhm,
wow, it was like another world. Like
mm,
it was so different. And when I got there, um, first night that I was there, when I woke up in the morning, I was thinking, "Oh my God, I live in China. I have a job, I have an apartment, I live in China." And I couldn't believe it. It was
mm,
just, I was there. I couldn't believe I was there.
yeah. No, I mean, I actually had a very different reaction my first night when I was like, I actually started crying because I was like, what did I do?
Oh,
But it has worked out very, very well. So it's
yeah.
all good.
Yeah. No, I was excited. I was,
No, 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 no. After that, I was excited too, but it was just that I think it was more the stress of getting there and the red eye and not being quite prepared for customs questions and thinking I almost got denied coming into the country. I think it was just all that. Well, after that one day, it was fine.
I
But
felt a
yeah,
little I felt a little overwhelmed my first day around the city because I realized that nobody spoke English, or
yep.
if they did, they didn't want to speak English because they were afraid to be wrong.
Mm,
And I remember, um, I don't drink soda, but I wanted to try a Coca-Cola. I wanted to try a Pepsi. I wanted to see, what it tasted like. I've had Coke and Pepsi in the
mm,
past. I don't drink soda, but I wanted to try it. And so I went to ask, could I have a Coke? And the person was like, what? In Chinese, what? And I said, a Coca-Cola. And they said, I don't understand what you're saying. And I said, okay, Pepsi. Now remember, I'm speaking English, they're speaking in Chinese. And I said, Pepsi. And no, no, don't understand. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have to learn Chinese real quick.
mm. So they didn't even understand Pepsi or Coke, huh?
No, no, because they have changed it into a Chinese word.
Oh,
Kala, kala is Coke. Kala, Pepsi. Oh, I forgot Pepsi. Kala is Coke. A Sprite, Shui B, or Seven Up, Shui B.
wow.
Boy, I forgot Pepsi. Hey, if you know what it
But
is in
did you
Chinese,
just
let us
eventually
know
like
below.
point and say that thing?
Yeah, yeah, I was doing that. I was going Coke, Coke. No, and they kept looking like what, what, you know.
Well, you would think if you're pointing there that they shouldn't be looking here,
Well,
like,
they had a big it was quite a large shelf with there was about 4 or 5 shelves with different things on it.
mm,
They had sodas, they had Chinese drinks, they had all kinds of stuff. So to point, it was do that.
oh, okay, I see what you're
It
saying.
was just it was hard, and there was some distance. I was standing behind. They were up in their little kiosk thing, and I was pointing, and this one.
At least they were patient with you
Yeah,
to an extent.
yeah.
Yeah, here it's sometimes they try to they start speaking English with me even as I'm speaking Czech because I guess the accent and the mispronunciation, but I haven't had too much trouble being understood, and where I'm on my own, it's usually a simple thing like I need to get a book or I need to get this signed, and I just learn the words beforehand, and it's usually fine.
Um, I don't know if this was brave. I don't think it was heroic, but I think it was somewhat brave. Um, I was in Dalian, and it's a city,
Hmm.
and these two girls, they were grade school girls. I think about maybe
Mm.
12, 13. They were young. There were two of them coming back from school or wherever, and they both were wearing their backpacks. And there was a guy who was probably a teenager. He looked about 18, 19, but I can't tell because Chinese people, they look so young sometimes, and they're older than they look sometimes. And but he was a young guy. He wasn't like an adult. Like anyway, you get the idea. He was unzipping the girl's backpack, trying to steal something out of her backpack.
Mm.
And the teacher in me put my hand up against his chest and just held him back so he couldn't do that. And he
Hmm.
looked at me shocked, and he just like, what? I surprised him, and I don't know if that was brave or stupid, but he was quite upset with me, and I kept walking. The girls were gone by this time,
Hmm.
and we kind of had a standoff where we were looking at each other, and I was like, come on, come on, because in China they don't put up with anyone that messes with a foreigner. They're very, especially with their English teachers, they're
Hmm.
very protective, very protective. I found them to be very protective of their English teachers.
Oh.
And but my heart was racing so fast. I was so scared.
Mm. Yeah, no, well, like I think I said in previous podcasts, when you're on the New York subway, you see things. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Well, it was pure instinct, and they're both about students' ages. They're the two girls, and the guy wasn't, and I just automatically just put my hand up.
Mhm.
And
Nope.
afterwards, I was thinking, stupid, stupid, stupid.
Denied. No.
Yeah. Thankfully, he didn't have a knife or something. Um,
Well, that's
uh,
like I was saying about New York, is like you didn't know if the person would just start yelling at you or come at you with a knife. And
yeah, yeah.
which is why I thought it was funny when the city was like, "Oh, we're going to ban smoking in public places." Okay, how are we going to enforce that? Well, people will do it. They will tell each other. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, at
That's only
best,
gonna
you're going to
cause
be told
fights.
words Ellie students shouldn't learn yet. And at worst, knife. So,
Well, in the States, gun nowadays.
oh, yeah. Well, in New York, I mean, I heard stories about like people being stabbed on the subway because they wouldn't get up for somebody. So it's
Okay, my students, don't be afraid to go to the US. Not all places are that dangerous. Just be
and New York
careful.
itself is not that dangerous. It's just a
Right.
freak occurrence. But no, I mean, I think what you should take from both of our experiences is just be
Be
careful,
careful.
be
Be
wise.
careful.
That's all.
Be careful.
I
I
myself had nothing bad happen to me in my many years of living in New York. It was fine.
Yeah, and I got lucky. He went his way, I went mine, and that was the end of it, thankfully. And nothing was said. It just we just kind of went our separate ways.
Mhm.
That was it. All right, let's look at our next one. The next one
Mm.
is left out. The feeling of being left out. What are some other words you can think of? Remember, if you're watching this on the replay, pause the video now, write down your words.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
We have omitted,
Repressed,
suppressed,
overlooked,
exclude,
skipped.
passed over.
Mm.
Let me know in the comment section below if you came up with these words or other words that we haven't listed. Now, these words are just a few. There are a lot of words with these feelings and emotions. I've only picked a few. So if you can think of other words, let me know in the chat box. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So, have you ever felt left out or excluded?
Oh, sure, all many times, but I think that's pretty common for a lot of people. Is it just it's part of life,
Yeah.
that you don't feel quite the center of the party, or that you feel like you're being ignored. I mean, yeah, I mean it happens. I think to everybody once or twice at least.
Mhm. I had a lot of trouble when I lived in Costa Rica because I didn't speak Spanish. And sometimes when I got in with a group of people that I didn't know, I might have known one or two, um, but if we were at a party or at a gathering, everyone spoke Spanish and they sort of
Mhm.
forgot that I didn't. So I felt a little left out.
That happened to me my first few months here. That like everybody forgot that I couldn't speak Czech, so I just left after a few minutes, and I don't think they even noticed.
Mhm. And I suppressed my feelings. I didn't say anything to anyone about how I was feeling. I
Mm.
suppressed what I was feeling. I didn't want to say, hey, you guys are speaking in Spanish and leaving me out. I didn't do that. I suppressed that urge.
Hmm.
um, I've omitted certain words in my videos
Mm.
because I know that I have students of all levels. I had a video where I explained a story and I had to use the word but.
Hmm.
And somebody, I don't know who it was, made a comment that I shouldn't be using that kind of language. And I didn't think that was such a bad word. Uh,
Butts, as in like
bottom,
the person's.
buttocks,
Okay.
butt. I mean, lots of other words, buttocks, bottom, butt. And I thought butt was a safe word. Buttocks,
Yeah.
too formal. Derriere, not a lot of people would know it.
Hmm.
Non-native English speakers, derriere
Hmm.
may or may not know that word. So I thought butt was safe. But typically I omit words like bad words because of my students,
Hmm.
their ages, whatever uh, age they are. I want it to be age appropriate. So that's what I omit.
It's probably good you omit it.
Ah, yes.
So I didn't think that'd be a problem.
No, no.
Also, butts can be nice.
And I recently uploaded a short about flat, and I mentioned flat butt, and I thought, oh no, there's that word
Mm,
again.
disc disc
I'll put the
should be
link in the
suppressed.
description box. I'll put the short in the description box, and you can let me know if you're offended by that.
Mm,
All right, speaking of which, let's talk about being silly.
yes.
All right, so what other words can you think of that means silly? Okay, we have childish,
Hmm. Crazy,
ludicrous,
nonsensical,
ridiculous,
asinine,
illogical.
fascinating.
Yeah.
You should have let me have that one. I'm a Star Trek fan.
Uh, yeah. I like the word ludicrous. That's ludicrous. I love
Ludicrous speed, go.
that. Ludicrous. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just the sound of it. Ludicrous. It
Hmm.
sounds like.
Well, when we're talking about stupidity, I like imbecile. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's a fine line between crazy and stupidity.
oh
It
yeah,
depends
absolutely.
on what it is. There's a fine line between something that's stupid and something that's
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
Some people would say it's stupid to jump out of a perfectly good working airplane.
Oh yeah, or getting in a small submersible that isn't safely rated, going down to see the Titanic. That's pretty crazy, as we saw.
I, I,
So
uh-huh.
I was just gonna say, I like watching nonsensical video game videos, like where the person plays the game badly on purpose. Like
Oh,
I enjoy the Hitman series, which is you're supposed to go in, get your target, and get out. But there's one guy I like who kills everybody on the map while making comments in this amazing Scottish deadpan voice that he has. Like, for example, like one person says, in the game, he's like, "Hey, I need you to leave the room," and he would say, "I need you to leave consciousness." So I like having those videos on in the background when I don't have anything to do.
Now, my favorite is Harold Does Horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hilarious take on video games.
Mm.
And throughout the video, or throughout the game, he makes commentary, makes jokes, things that are happening. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll post the links in the description
Mm.
box below. But he's my favorite. He cracks me up.
I
I laugh
I
so hard sometimes.
oh yeah. Another one who's big on ludicrous is How to Basic. I enjoy his videos.
How to basic, okay?
Oh yes.
Well, we'll post the links in the description box below if you want to check those out.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video with some of Harold's clips, and I'll
Okay.
post that in the description
What
box
was his
below.
name again? Harold Does Horror.
Harold Does Horror.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of this guy. Harold does horror.
It's a sock puppet.
Okay,
Did
interesting.
you find him?
It did, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a sock puppet, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Forever haunted
hilarious.
by a clown.
You've got to see it. It's hilarious.
Are these like real
It's
world stories
crazy.
or video
They're,
games
they're
or
video games, all kinds of games that he plays.
okay, so they're like
Um,
horror games.
right. The horror-based games,
Got it.
anything that's kind of a jump scare or
Okay.
things like that. Yeah, check it out. It's
He's
hilarious.
very good at his thumbnails, I'll say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people would say that it's childish, but
Hmm.
I think it's so funny.
Well, I mean, I that's how I feel about How to Basic is that some people think it's just completely stupid and crazy, but I think it's pretty funny. So,
And ludicrous.
oh yes, students, when you see his videos, you'll see what I mean.
The videos that I find asinine are the ones that do pranks.
Yes, absolutely.
I think those are asinine. The
Hmm.
prank videos, I think they're overdone. And come on,
And I
just
also think
really.
they're mean.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, there's a couple in Prague that do prank videos, and
Really? Who?
I knew you were going to ask me who.
Because I, I
Um,
I know about Honest Guide. But they're not a prank video.
No, but it's a couple. They do pranks on each other. There's one
Oh, okay.
prank, and the reason why I watched the a couple of the videos is because they were in Prague,
Mm.
and they did one prank which was mild and it was funny. They they somehow got their friend to sleep. I don't know if they drugged him or what, but they got him drunk the night before. I don't know, but they put him in a bed right under the old clock there in downtown Prague. Yeah. They somehow drugged him and put him underneath this
And
clock.
nobody had a problem with this.
No, no. It was
The police didn't come and
I don't
say,
remember the name of the channel because like I said, I only watched a couple of videos. But yeah, they were in Prague.
I'm just surprised the police didn't have a problem with this.
No, I think it was early in the morning. I don't think it wasn't it wasn't bothering anybody. There weren't a lot of tourists there. It had been
But
early in the morning.
still, I mean, it's like
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
I'm just surprised that they didn't have a big problem with that.
They did it.
Fair enough.
That kind of prank that doesn't bother me so much because it doesn't hurt anybody. It's a little embarrassing, but it's not.
Mm,
But most of these pranks go horribly wrong, and I think, oh, it's mean.
mm.
All right, next one is frustrated.
Uh,
Frustrated.
mhm.
What words can you think of? Frustrated. Okay, defeated,
Discontented,
discouraged,
disheartened,
irked,
stonewalled.
stymied.
Hmm.
That's a fun one. People should start using that again. Stymied.
Mm.
I'm stymied. We don't hear that one very often. If ever, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it other than maybe in a book or on TV. But
Hmm.
in everyday life, I haven't heard anyone say it. You?
Well,
Have you heard?
I haven't found this video, but I found some guy dressing up as Kim Jong Un walking through New York.
Oh, okay. Back on the other one. Focus.
Yeah, no, but I felt the need to share that because some people are very weird, and it is disheartening to see people being so weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a little discouraged when I watch a how-to video and it doesn't come out the way I expected it to.
Mm, yeah, I can feel irked if I'm playing a video game and I just keep failing at the level, especially like in newer Mario games where they literally go too bad when you die.
Yeah.
I get very irked when that happens.
I get I get discouraged when, well, I get irked when um, I see people doing stupid things
Mm-hmm.
to animals and putting it
Yep.
on video when they are
Mm,
cruel to animals, or those videos where people go around helping less fortunate people,
mm-hmm.
and look what I did, I gave this person $500 one day, but the rest of this person's life, it's, I don't like that. Ta-da! Look what I did. I did this good
Mm,
thing, or ta-da! I did this terrible thing to this dog.
mm.
Those videos irk me, so I don't watch those videos.
I remember there was a guy who does Lego videos, like putting the sets together and reviewing them, and he had just done one of the more expensive, larger sets, the Colosseum. And one of his chat members said, "I want to see you smash it." And he said, "Oh well, I wouldn't do that, not unless I, had another one." And he immediately donated the amount for another Colosseum. And it's like,
Wow.
no. If someone told me to smash the Titanic or any of my other Lego sets, I would say, "Words Ellie doesn't want you to learn, students."
Yeah, I don't see the point in that.
No, I don't either. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. It's just, ugh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel a little discontented with how connected people are to their devices, uh, and not taking in a moment to see their surroundings and what's
Mm,
happening around them. I feel lucky that I didn't grow up in a society where we have so many things that we're connected to, like phones and tablets and computers and laptops. Now, I'm guilty. I do have these things,
yep.
but I do, like when I walk my dogs. I don't take anything with me. I walk my dogs.
Hmm.
I'm in the moment, and I feel that we should be at least a little bit connected to the world
Mm.
and our surroundings.
It is something I've thought about, like that, how disconnected people are from reality. And they're just,
Mm.
that's another thing that where I get irked if someone who's just staring at their phone walks into me. I remember
Oh,
one guy who was staring at his phone. He walked into me, backed up a little bit, and then walked into me again, all while still.
mm, mm.
I almost grabbed it out of his hand and threw it across the street.
I want to get one of those air horns and
Mm-hmm.
press that, because I have so many people that ride by. We have a bike path, and people ride their bikes past doing this on
Mm-hmm.
their phone, and the only thing stopping me from doing that is one, I'm afraid they're going to get hurt, or
Exactly.
two, they're going to break their phone and then come
Mm-hmm.
after me saying, "Hey, you did this, and you have to buy me a
Oh
new
yeah.
phone." But I think, oh, get off your phone. You're not that important. Bike.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from a movie. Yes, I know it's from a movie.
You
Um,
want to ride your bicycle. You want to ride your bike.
yeah, yeah,
You want
yeah,
to ride
yeah,
your
yeah.
bicycle. You want to ride your bike.
It's my favorite line. Get off your phone. You're not that important.
Mm,
Melissa McCarthy said that actually it was a series on Netflix, and I laughed so hard. So
mm-hmm.
now, anytime you see somebody on their phone riding their bike, get off your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Not that important. Let's look at our next one. Hopeful.
Hopeful.
Hopeful. Hopeful.
Yes.
What words can you think of? Hopeful. Remember, pause the video if you're watching this on the replay. Okay. Optimistic.
Positive.
Assured.
Expectant.
Promising.
Reassuring.
Full of promise.
Mm.
Okay, so optimistic. What am I
Hmm.
optimistic about? I think I'm optimistic about this channel doing
Very
well.
good.
I can't get over that 10,000 people have subscribed. I started this just to help my students that I was working with, and I thought, well, I can make a quick video and send it to my student for them to actually see these different things that we talked about in class. And it was just sort of a hobby. It was something I was doing for fun.
Hmm.
But now that it's reached 10,000, now I think, wow, I really want to make this something fun and interesting and something that people will enjoy. So I'm
Mm.
optimistic that this will become a thing.
I've thought about having a YouTube channel myself. I just don't know what topic I want to do or what theme. Maybe something from history because I miss talking about it like I did in New York, but there are so many history channels. Like, how do I stand out, you know?
Yeah, for me, I just do it for me and my
Yeah.
students. I do it for the people that are interested in learning about English. And I enjoy it. It's a lot of work. I post 3 videos a week. And now I'm doing a Sunday members only videos on
Hmm.
every other Sunday. So this Sunday there wasn't a live stream, but next Sunday there will be a live stream for
Hmm.
members only, and it's for students that want more help with their Cambridge exams, and it's going to be more grammar based and reading comprehension and different tips on passing these Cambridge exams,
Hmm.
and that's the focus of that for the
Hmm.
moment. Um, and so it does take a lot of work.
Well, yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah. And a friend said the same thing. He's like, do it for you, not for anything else. So
mhm.
we'll think about it. We'll see.
And it's reassuring to know that um, if I post videos ahead of time, I don't have to always be making videos because I've made them ahead of time. And
Mhm.
if you want to know what topics that are coming up, you can go to EnglishFunZone.com and click the live events tab, and you can see the topics of these live streams, and you'll know what we're going to be talking about. So
Mhm. I find
it's
Lego promising. I enjoy doing them, and they're always coming out with new sets.
mm,
Although I am scared at the idea that someday Lego will get the rights to do Star Trek Lego like they do with Star Wars Lego,
all right, right.
because Star Wars Lego is really big, really impressive, and really expensive
That's true. That's true.
because of the licensing and all that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So no, I don't think I think I'll be both happy and sad if I hear Paramount Lego come to agreement on Star Trek.
Now, the biggest Lego project you have done so far is the Titanic, right?
How do you
Is that the
define
biggest one?
big?
Pieces, we'll say.
No, that would be the world map, which I also
Oh,
have. But in
oh.
terms of like impressive big thing, yeah, it would be the Titanic. I like looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. So,
And for those that haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's the detail
mm-hmm,
is incredible. And
mm-hmm.
how long did it take you to do that?
It took me about 22 hours.
Oh,
There are people who claim they did it in 10, and the record's even shorter than that. I don't know how they did.
I think it would
Um,
have taken me 22 months.
Oh yeah, yeah. My mom was like, "You did it already," and
Yeah.
oh, it was a big thing with my students. They were like, "Oh, Titanic is here." Yeah, yeah, and they were urging me to like sleep and eat, and I was like,
Gotta do it. I gotta do it.
"Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's Lego. It's like that's just how I am. When I have a project, I have to sit down and do it. So,
Mm, I'm the
but
same
I
way.
do enjoy Lego very much. It
Let's look at our next.
makes me hopeful.
It makes you hopeful.
Mhm.
It's full of promise.
Yeah.
Our next word is cranky.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Cranky. Oh, what words can you think of? Cranky.
Mm-hmm. It's that green face.
I know. Spoiler.
Mm,
Cantankerous. Cantankerous. Cantankerous.
yes.
Cantankerous. That's a great word.
Yes. Grouchy,
Grumpy.
irritable,
Ornery.
crabby.
Crabby. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this word cantankerous.
Yes.
It's a word that's used in the south part of the U.S. More
Mm-hmm.
often than the north. So I'm wondering if it's a southern word that people use in the south or in
Well,
like
in
like in. Mhm.
in Star Trek, Dr. McCoy is described as cantankerous a lot, and he's from the South.
There
So,
you go. There you go.
mm-hmm.
Proof that it is a southern word. I am grumpy if I don't eat when I'm hungry. It's like so if
Mm.
we're out and about, I get grumpy. I
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, I haven't eaten all day, and I feel grumpy. Um, there's a term, hangry. Have you
Yep,
heard of this?
I have.
Hangry. It's a combination of hungry and angry.
Mm-hmm.
Hangry. It's when you're
Uh-oh.
hungry and you're angry. It's hangry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hangry
Yeah.
when I
My
get grumpy.
my father would get ornery when his teams weren't doing well. He was a
Oh,
big he was a big fan of the Boston Red Sox, the New York Rangers, and the New York Giants. And whenever they weren't doing well, oh, he would get ornery, yelling and swearing, stomping, and things being thrown.
mm.
I still remember one time where he went, "Yes, yes, no." He said something a lot stronger than no, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my dad was never into sports.
Okay.
In fact, most of the family on my dad's side, they weren't really into sports at all. We never watch football or baseball.
My my dad's dad was also a big Red Sox fan, and he was born in 1915, which was the last year until more recently they ever won a World Series. So he never saw the Red Sox win a World Series. So my father was a stoic man. He didn't really like showing emotion or being around emotion, but he
Mhm.
was very happy that when the Red Sox won because he was thinking of his father.
Mm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. One sound I have that I dislike is when I hear a child being crabby,
Oh yes.
and when they're cranky, like
Oh yeah.
maybe in a store and they want a piece of candy or
Mm-hmm.
something, we'll say candy,
Mm-hmm.
and the parent is saying no, and the kid is just throwing a tantrum, or they're
Mm-hmm.
crying and "Ah," and
Yeah.
throwing a fit. And tantrum is a good word.
Yes.
Tantrum. It's when they throw their fist, they go,
Mm-hmm.
"I want candy," and do that. That's a tantrum. And when they're crabby like that and make that, that I want this, and
Mm-hmm.
the parent saying no, no, you can't have it. That just, oh, bothers me so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Crying children is one of the most annoying sounds on the planet, as terrible as that makes me sound.
No, I understand. Crying if they're hungry or they're wet or there's a reason for it,
Yeah.
that's okay. That I understand. But
Mm-hmm.
this spoiled brat, give me candy
Mm-hmm.
now, or I want it now.
Mm-hmm.
That screaming tantrum. No
Mm-hmm.
should be no. No, you can't have it. Okay, but um, yeah, I just.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me frustrated too.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's look at the next one. Next one is
Mm-hmm.
jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is jealous. Now I had a little sneak peek of this guy. This is one of my
Yeah.
favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of the Grinch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
These were
Oh
uh,
yeah.
these were computer generated. AI generated. I put in a description, and this is what happened. It's like that'll
You
work.
see.
So, what are some words? Let's think.
Mm-hmm.
We have envious,
Covetous,
resentful,
begrudging,
bitter.
green-eyed.
Yeah, here, the green-eyed monster. Ah.
Mm.
If you're
You're a mean one,
green-eyed, it's
Grinch.
yeah, green-eye it's when you're jealous, like, oh, I really
Mm.
want that too. Um, I get a little green-eyed when I see that other people are doing stuff that looks like a lot of fun that I can't
Mm-hmm.
do. Then I get jealous. It's like, oh, I
Mm.
wish I could do that, but I can't for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. Um, uh, I like to swim, but it would be
Mm-hmm.
fun to know how to dive, like do a proper dive from a diving board.
Right.
Oh, I wish I could do that. So I get a little jealous about that. Things
Mm-hmm.
like that. It was something that I can do, but same thing with crocheting. I like to crochet. I do enjoy it, but when somebody makes this fantastic project, like, oh, I wish I could do that. I get a little green-eyed.
Sure. I can get a little resentful when people don't let other people enjoy something because they don't like it.
Mm.
Like, they're like, no, I hate it, so I have to constantly complain about it. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just let them enjoy it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get too um envious over uh, people with money because I think
Yeah.
that comes with a whole separate
Oh yeah.
set of problems. So I don't get envious if they have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I get envious if they have a lot of time that they can do
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Not necessarily, travel things like that. I do that, but I get a little envious that they have all this time, and I wish I had more time in a day to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like I'm running out of
Mm-hmm.
time. And speaking of running out of
Yeah.
time, we have run out of time with our live stream today.
Ah.
uh, so, a couple of announcements. We're going to be talking about next Monday, we're going to be talking about idioms.
Yes.
Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested in learning about idioms, come back
Come on board.
next Monday, following Monday. Yeah, a lot of students like learning about idioms. I've done videos on idioms, but on the 20th of May, we're going
Mm-hmm.
to be talking about these idioms. The other thing that's coming up is I'm opening an online shop. So I'm going to have merch, which I hate that word. I hate merch. It's
Mm-hmm.
merchandise, same merchandise. I have merchandise. But I know. Gotta stick with the times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to open up this store very soon by the 20th. You'll be able to get merch, and we'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
that more on the 20th. Now, if you are learning things for FCE or PET or KET or any of those Cambridge exams, or know somebody that is going through the exam process, I'm doing live streams for those exams every other Sunday. This coming Sunday, we're going to be doing, I think, PET, the reading part. So there's 5 parts in the reading part of PET. I'm going to be covering that part of the exam. So come join the fun, bring your questions. And that is it for the updates. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
Brad, thank you for joining us today. And as always, it was great fun.
Yes, it was.
And it was a little bit silly too.
Oh, yes. But it wasn't ornery. That's the important thing.
Nope.
We weren't cantankerous.
All right, everyone.
Maybe a
Thanks
bit
again.
venturesome, but
No, it wasn't venturesome.
yeah.
Be adventurous. All right. See you next time. Thanks for watching. And remember, please keep practicing.